So overall, I had a decent day. I just did a number, just a few stocks. So let's kind of go over what I did here. Again, I'm kind of proud of myself because I only took 54 tickets today. It's a bit more than yesterday's, but it is what it is. But it's not too excessive in my opinion. I think if I do anywhere between 40 to 60 tickets, that would be a good day. And I just need to be more selective and mindful about taking the tickets and not over trading and being in situations where I don't have to do that. That's one of the keys, because anytime you give up back profits, then you're just losing money. So let's start with MU. It's a kind of a quick short trade. I only made a few bucks off of it, $48. What did I do here? Oh, okay. So I saw that it wasn't able to make new 5-minute highs above this, so it sort of oscillated around this level. And then when it dropped, I think the price action and also on the 1 minute, it was very favorable, so it couldn't make new highs, and then it made a new low. And this is kind of a 1 minute engulfing. It doesn't really tell you much, but it is kind of indicative. So there's an indecision candle here. And I saw that it's sort of making new lower lows, so I took 1,000 shares going short at this level, and then it bounced back, which is where my stop loss is. And so I was thinking about exiting the position, but then it started to the price action showed that it was slowly going back down, and I told myself that if it's going to test this level again, and if it exceeded this, because my confirmation more or less would be if it drops below the 540, but then the risk reward may not be that great, even though my profit target would be down here at the 54 level. It never got down there until now, but that was sort of my goal, and I was going to cover on my way down, and so that's kind of what I did, right? So it dropped, it started to approach that level, so I was short again, and as it dropped below VWAP, I covered some more, and then as it was going back up, I just exited my entire position, and I think I only got like small shares, like 200 around here, and then my majority of my position was pretty much exited at break even. So I only made 48 bucks off of MU, but that was good because, as you can see, if I did not exit and protect my profit, I would have given it all back on the squeeze right here, and probably, actually, most likely, not most likely, sorry, definitely at a loss, given how big that squeeze is. So that was MU, and then for QCOM, opening range breakdown. I kind of missed the first 5 minutes, so I took like a 10-minute opening range breakdown. I think first 5 minutes I was doing something else, maybe MU or something. I don't know. Anyway, so I think on price action, it never broke this level, so I was kind of bouncing at this place. I was figuring it would go back towards this moving average at some point, so that was sort of my concern. But I told myself if it does, I'll see what happens. I took 1,500 shares because Qualcomm, it's a kind of a easy to manage the risk. The spread is 1 cent, and it actually moves quite slowly from that perspective as well. So I took 1,500, which is kind of big for me, and my profit target was down at this level. And so as it dropped, I started closing towards that. Close some more as it was going to bounce back. I didn't know if it was going to bounce back, test this level, and go up or not. And I think I lost some money on another stock that I was playing, so I was a little eager to make back that. So I didn't hold the last share for the test of this level, but as you can see, it did eventually test this level. It is what it is. Made a decent profit, $207 from that, so that was okay. Let's see what else. And then Twitter. What did I do with Twitter? So for Twitter, I saw that it was getting close to the previous day close. And then also, if you look at the 1 minute, it never lost the moving average. It more or less just trended along the moving average. So I watched it. I saw this pullback here, and I told myself, okay, if it doesn't drop below the 43, 46, I'm gonna go in. And I think I went pretty heavy, 1,500 shares, because I felt pretty confident about this. Because number one is, the MACD lines at that point was all pointing upwards, which is the MACD and the signal line here, the moving average and then the signal line. And then there was this level of support, even though the moving average is here, but there's a simple moving average up here to help support it on the 5 minutes. So I wasn't as concerned. Plus, there was all these other levels, right? You have this previous day level here, and then you have the previous day close up there, and this was good because it was a retracement. And so I went long, and then I covered on my way up. I exited my position as it was going down. I didn't know it was going to go down and then basically do a reversal, because sometimes that happens. So I just exited my position. But as you can see, it actually went and tested this level as well. But I got $205 out of it, so I'm okay. And then MTSL. This is the one that I keep losing money on this, and it's my fault. But I didn't think I did. I only made one mistake, which is my stop loss. So here I went short only 1,000 shares. My goal is to get to this previous day level, and it's not too much to ask, simply because this stock, the ATR, is pretty good on it. So it wasn't like the ATR was like 20 cents or something. I think it was like 39 cents or 75 cents, somewhere around there. So it was a decent ATR. So it does have a chance to go down to this level. I didn't think it was going to go down in one go, but either way, it didn't. So I went short. I should have gotten stopped out here at this level, at 325 or maybe 330 at most. When did I get stopped? 335. So 1,000 shares, waited too long to get stopped out. So that's my problem, because this was distended. Either way, it was probably going to move back. All the moving averages are way up here. So that should be another clue, actually, that this may pop back up. Yeah, the moving average is way up. In retrospect, that should have been a warning sign. But I wasn't paying attention to that. So I went short. Should have gotten stop out earlier. Did not get stop out earlier. I got stop out pretty late. So I think that was the majority of my loss. And then here I went short. I saw that there was this big drop. It seemed to lose this moving average. It tested VWAP already. So I thought it was going to go down. It did not. But this time I got stopped out early. So that was okay. And then I did play it one more time. When it lost VWAP, has this big drop, lost all these moving averages, I went short. And I also saw a 5 minute. Probably would be great entry up here, closer to moving average. But I think I caught it late. I shorted at this 340, 320. So there was a good 20 cent move here. I think I set a monetary stop loss in my mind. If it went up by 10 cents, I would have exited. It did not, so that was good. So it dropped, I covered, and then when it popped and it went back up, I just exited. This was a bad stock for me. I wasn't doing a good job with it. It's also a low float stock, so I just didn't want to deal with it anymore. So that was MTSL. Took away a profit for me. So ACHV took an opening range breakdown here. The reason I did that was because at the time it was just floating. It was dropping, and then I kind of expected this move for it to move back towards the moving average. The spread was good, everything else was good. So I took a short because I think at the time, it lost all these moving averages, and then oh, there you go. So it lost all the moving averages. And I think this was the stock with the smaller ATR. So 487, I took a pretty sizable position. I think 1,500 shares, or maybe even 2,000 shares. And then I saw that there's this pre-market level here, and it lost all the moving averages and everything. Same here. It was moving towards this moving average on the 1 minute, so I felt comfortable that my stop loss could be at or slightly above the moving average. So I went short. And it was slow moving, much more slow moving than MTSL. So short, sizable position, I think 2,000 shares or 1,500, somewhere around there. And then I just basically covered on the way down. As you can see, when it popped, I just exited, which was good because then it kept on going higher. So that's what I did. And I think I did take 2,000 shares. And I didn't really make too much because this is a good drop, but I think I covered like half of it back here, so it's slightly below the break-even point. So I did get some more profit out of it, but it wasn't that great. But either way, I made $100 off of this. And again, importance of stop loss. Don't let a stock run against you. So you can always go back in and see what happens. So that was my trade of ACHV, and then BABA. So BABA, what I did here was I went short 940, 935. So it didn't really clear the opening range, but there was a pre-market level on the bottom here, which it did test, and here it dropped below VWAP, it dropped below all these moving averages, and I saw that it just couldn't break this 189 level. It bounced around there for a bit. So when it lost all the moving averages, it was great, right? Because you have a good reward down here, and your risk could be up here. So once it clears VWAP, you can just exit. And the size that I took wasn't, because it's an expensive stock, it's only 400 shares. So I only took 400 shares of this, and I can define a stop loss above VWAP. And as it dropped, I basically just covered, and then when it popped back up here, it's a 100, 100, and then here I just exited my position. I could have just covered more here, but I was hoping that it would actually drop below this level. It didn't do that, and so I just cut my losses before my break-even point, because I already had some profit. So always protect your profits. And then later on, I traded BABA one more time, this time on the long side, and I saw that it was holding this moving average. It didn't drop below it. So I was watching it for a while. New 5-minute highs, and then when it did make another new 5-minute high, which corresponded to it holding this level and didn't drop below it, I went long, 400 shares again, and then my profit target was up here, the 190.25. But I knew that it, usually it may get close to it in the vicinity of this area, but it may not break through. So I covered on my way up, and then when it just can't hold that level anymore on the way down, I basically exited my position because I didn't want to give back profits. And again, that was good, right? Because then it dropped. So again, I think today's trades show the importance of not giving back profits, setting appropriate stop losses. So first trade on MTSL was horrible stop loss setting. Everything else was okay. And then on the trades where I did make money, I was conscientious of the fact of not giving back profits. So that's another good lesson for myself, is don't ever give back profits. But otherwise, it's a decent day. 54 tickets, $500. So that would probably cost me maybe 20-25% of my earnings, so commission, probably $100 or so. But that's okay. So, all right. I had a decent day. I think I'm gonna stop here. You know, and we'll go from there.